Welcome back to Chelsea Talks. I'm your host, Cooper Jones. This is Season 2, Episode 2. Today, we're doing 20 questions with Mr. Fannin. This is my co-host.
Jackson Hall.
And my guest.
Mr. Fannin.
All right, Jackson, you want to kick us off with some few icebreakers?
Yeah, what's your favorite sport?
Favorite sport? To play, it was always baseball. My parents wouldn't let me play football when I was younger. They said I was too small. So I had to live with that my entire life. But, hey, that made me a big baseball fan. But now, watching on TV is probably football. Like, I love college football, big Auburn fan. Probably more of a college fan than I am NFL fan, you know?
Yeah,
just, something different about, students. Used to be, I would say, different about students competing versus NFL players making millions of dollars, but now you got students making millions of dollars.
Right.
So that's kind of changed the last couple of years, but still love the passion at college football. And recently have gotten into coaching basketball and track here at Chelsea. So those are quickly getting to the top of my list, too, for favorite sports.
I think about running track for the middle school when tryouts come up just for fun. Because
I think you
like
should.
running, and
I love it.
basketball's fun, too.
I love it, and it's really great. Those watching out there who are athletes in other sports, track is awesome to really help in your endurance. You know what I mean? So, you need endurance in football and in basketball, baseball, all these other sports. So track is really good at kind of building that. So I encourage all you guys out there, try out for our track team.
Jackson, you play any sports?
I play a little bit of basketball for rec.
Yeah, I do, too. Much funner playing smaller leagues.
Yeah.
Funner and a lot funnier. Would you rather have ice cream or cake for the rest of your life?
All right. So been thinking about that question, and you actually came up with something the other day that made me think ice cream cake. Just
Yeah.
combine the two.
Yeah,
Have them both for the rest of your
Pretty
life.
good.
Why not?
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
So, hey, I think
Right.
I'm going to change my opinion to ice cream cake.
Yeah. So, ice cream cake's good.
Hey, can't beat
So,
it.
I like ice cream more.
yeah.
Ice cream more? Yeah. Less icing on ice cream cake, too, so that's probably
Right.
why I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of that.
Would you rather watch an action movie, romance movie, or horror?
Action movie, 100%. Like, my son is really into the big Marvel movies right now. So we've watched every single one at least 10 times, probably the last 2 years. He's a big Guardians fan. So action movies will probably definitely be my go-to.
Getting closer to Halloween, I've always liked horror.
Yeah,
So
and
just-
that's the time,
yeah.
That's going to get to the point where we can watch those horror movies, and that's a lot of fun. But I think we've talked before, too, about it's even more fun to make fun of them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They're not necessarily always scary, but it's always like, oh, my
Funny,
gosh,
yeah.
this is the worst movie ever, but you
Right.
can't take your eyes off of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things.
Entertaining.
Entertaining, very
Right.
much so, very much so. You're not really looking for big plot points in
Right.
those type of movies, but
Have you ever thought there was a monster under your bed?
whew. Monster in my bed, there's still monsters under my bed. All the time, man. I get scared for everything. No, I'm just joking. When I was a kid, though, I always thought there was.
Right.
And my son is at the age now where he thinks they're under his bed because he sees shadows in the night. So, it's trying to talk to him about, hey, there really isn't one. Then he asks you well, did you ever think there were? And you have to be honest with him. And then he asked me, well, how do you know there's not under mine? And so he's in that age where, you try to comfort him, but he's so inquisitive that you have to just finally say, okay, just look under here yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So back in the day, I could just give him some words of encouragement about no monsters, and he'd believe me, but now he needs proof. So
Right.
there we go.
My floor squeaks and it wakes me up in the middle of the night. I jump up so fast it's insane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Oh, yeah. No sneaking in for you when you get
Right.
older, huh? So
Exactly. What are you most scared of?
failure.
Failure? I agree with
Failure. And in history, we talk about a lot of people who have failed, but out of that failure become great. Like Harry Truman, for example. He had 5 different jobs before he became president. He failed at every one of them, but people would argue that's a pretty good job to have president. You know what I mean? I would consider that like a success. So failure is one of those things that it's fearful, but if you use it to motivate you, if you use it to fuel your passion and your drive to get better, failure is almost sometimes needed in life. You know what I mean? We often learn more from those failures than we do from any success. So even though that's a big fear of mine, it's one thing that I know is going to happen from time to time, and it's just kind of how do you react to it. You can kind of make the story out of your failure. So, but I think everybody kind of can agree, we're always kind of scared to just make that
Right.
wrong decision, that wrong misstep. But then again, that's how we learn. That's how we become better people.
That's right. What is your favorite color?
Favorite color, blue.
I agree
Definitely
with
blue.
that.
I love baby blue. I love Chelsea colors because of the blue and the white. But always growing up, it's always been a big blue. And then even in my sports teams, with Auburn, different shade of blue, but you got to have that blue in there. So
That's right.
Hard candy or soft candy? And if so, what's your favorite?
Now, it used to be hard candy. I used to love Jolly Ranchers, but recently my son has got me on the Sour Patch Watermelon, and
Them are really good.
those are
Not too
amazing.
sour, not too sweet.
I would just pass
Squishy.
up on regular Sour
Right.
Patch Kids and go
Yeah.
to Sour Patch Watermelon every day. And Miss Stallings the other day had her ice cream sundae bar and actually had some on there. So I
Oh,
was
fun.
really excited to add that to my ice cream too. And hey, it was actually pretty good.
Would you rather chill or drip fit?
If I knew what either of those meant, I could probably give you an answer. So y'all educate me here. What are we talking about here?
Chill is like you're like a relaxed.
Sweatpants.
Yeah.
Sweatpants. Well, I think you can tell
Sweater.
like
I mean,
I'm usually in a tie, so I
Right.
guess
Yeah.
the chill wouldn't be considered. So would that be drip fit if
Yeah.
it was the
Yeah.
tie?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess I'm a drip fit all the way.
That's
So,
right.
Well, I learned something today. Nice.
What's your favorite animal?
Favorite animal? Love dogs. Always loved dogs. Recently lost my dog, so we're really looking forward to the next couple months getting a puppy, for my son and kind of raising that from the puppy stage. But if I could have a dream animal, I've always wanted to have a dolphin. And as weird as that sounds, just have a place on the beach with a little ocean out behind you, and here's your pet dolphin and all that stuff. So
They sound cool.
yeah, it would love.
Most-
They're amazing and intelligent animals, and just beautiful and graceful. So it'd be nice to just kind of be at the beach and have your
Right.
pet dolphin with you. So
Most people like to swim with dolphins. I don't know how they do that. And a lot of
Yeah.
people like swimming with sharks. I really don't know how they do that one.
I've swam with dolphins before. I haven't sharks, and you would never see me swim with a shark by choice. You know what I mean? Like if the boat's going down, I gotta get in the water, and there's sharks. Okay, we're swimming together. But hey, if I
Right.
had to choose, you're never gonna have it.
Right.
Not gonna happen.
I'm
Do you-
scared of dolphins because
Are
I
you
feel
really?
like, yeah, because they're like so like intelligent
Oh yeah.
that like I don't know what they can do. They know more than me.
There you go. So they're kind
Right.
of misunderstood in a
Yeah.
way. That's a good point. That's a good point. But
Do
hey,
you-
you
do
gotta
you-
love the dolphins.
Do you play or like any video games?
Don't play currently. Never was a big gamer. When I was in college, or I guess before college, I had a Sega Genesis, and the games we would play was NBA Jam, like the old NBA Jam, which is I still think one of the best games ever. Sonic the Hedgehog. Then when I got to college, I really didn't get into gaming. I remember when I went to college, I'm old enough, that's when PlayStation 2 came out. So Xbox was just coming out. PlayStation 2 was now on the scene. So it blew up everywhere. But I just kind of missed that boat, if you will. Yeah.
Right. All right, Jackson. I'm going to kick us off with some real life questions. Mr. Fannin, what college did you go to and why did you choose to go there?
Went to Auburn University and got my master's later at UAB. I had about 15 years in between. But Auburn was always one of my go-tos. I had two sisters who were older. One went to Georgia, one went to Auburn. We would frequently go visit them for games or just, parents' weekend or something like
Right.
that. And always just loved Auburn. Always loved Auburn. And so I applied to two schools. I applied to Auburn and Alabama. I got my acceptance letter from Auburn a week before my Alabama acceptance letter. So I was like, that must be it. That's the sign. I'm going to Auburn. And it was also 2 hours away from my parents' house, where Tuscaloosa was 1 hour away. So my thought process was, hey, I'm farther from home, a little bit more freedom, but I don't regret it. I loved every moment of it, and I think I pretty much miss Auburn every single day, to be honest with you.
Little off track. What school did your dad or mom go to?
My dad actually went to Jeff State and then Samford University.
Yeah,
So
my-
he graduated from Samford. My mom did not go to college. So
My brother goes to Jeff State right now.
Jeff State, yeah, it's a great place. My dad was actually the first graduating class of Jeff State back in the 70s. So
Oh, wow.
it just opened up, and then after that, he went off to Samford, and he's a big Bulldog fan today still because of that. So
What was your degrees or degrees in?
at Auburn, I got a degree in political science. I was always interested in politics. I wanted to be an architect originally, and schools and state architecture program at Auburn was, very good, still is very good. So that's kind of why I started gearing towards that. But then election of 2000 happened with Bush and Gore, and that really kind of sparked my really big interest in politics. And so I changed my major to political science, thinking that I maybe wanted to go to Washington one day or work in Montgomery or something along those lines. And now, 15 years later, here I am, as a teacher, kind of teaching politics and civics and history. So it's always been a passion of mine. So that was my degrees there. And then I got a master's degree at UAB in secondary education.
Did you have any other jobs besides teaching?
Yes, I worked in the restaurant business. So when I graduated from Auburn, the Great Recession hit about 2008, so couldn't find a job really anywhere. And so I got a job as a server and then got promoted pretty quickly into bartending, then pretty quickly into management, and thought this was going to be kind of a temporary thing before I went back to school. And then you close your eyes and open it up, and it's been 15 years. And then COVID hit, and that kind of gave me the opportunity to go back to school when the world shut down. So I told my boss that I was, kind of looking at something else now, and he gave me his blessings and was very supportive. And I went back to UAB, got my degree, and that brings me here today. So don't regret any bit of it. I'm so kind of wish I would have made that decision sooner, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Right. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Architect. Yeah, I've always loved cities, and coming from Birmingham, which is kind of a smaller city and a smaller skyline, every time we would go to Atlanta or Nashville or we've been to Chicago recently, I've always just was amazed by the huge cities and the different skyscrapers and the different architectural buildings up there. So thought that I wanted to do that, but then realized that a lot of math went into that. And no offense to our great math teachers here at Chelsea, math was never my strong suit. So that's why I kind of geared towards, I think, interesting in politics and history a little bit more.
Yeah, when my dad grew up, he wanted to be architect too, and that's where he came to be today.
Awesome.
He's an architect, so he really likes it.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
He's
What do
probably
you
the
wanna
same way when you go travel and looking at cities and buildings and stuff. I'm sure he's in awe too.
He points out, there's that great one, and there's this great one. Look how tall that is. I can name the exact dimensions of that.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's
That's
cool.
that math mind right there that I never had. So
What do you want to be, Cooper?
I don't quite know that yet, but
but you got
don't
time.
know. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. And I could be an example too. I went back to school when I was 38. So don't let anybody ever tell you that if you don't know what you want to do after high school, there's plenty of time.
Right.
We're kind of told from an early age you have to know. You have to do this and this and this and follow this step. But you know what? Life happens sometimes. So
Right.
if you ever feel like I don't know what I want to do right now, you got plenty of time. There's plenty of world out there and opportunities to kind of explore to get to that point right there.
Why did you decide to teach history?
Just because I loved it. I really did. I just loved it, and always been passionate about it, always been interested in it. And so, an opportunity to get up there and in front of my students and show my passion and my love for it, I think really comes across to them, which I think makes them a little bit more interested in it. Because
Right.
especially for sixth graders, you're not really accustomed to social studies in elementary school. It's
Right.
maybe a couple times a week. Studies weekly. Everybody doesn't like those. That's the first question I get on the first day of school is, are we doing studies weekly? And I'm like, hey, we're doing it a little bit different with that.
Yeah.
So seeing kids start sixth grade not really liking history, but like a couple weeks in,
They like it.
liking it and being more engaged, that's what drives me right there. And that's
Listen.
just the best part of my day right there is to see that thing kind of click for the kids.
It's important to learn too, because it could happen again, and
Oh,
you want
yeah.
to know what it is and
Yeah.
why it could happen again.
They say we
So,
learn
yeah.
history so we don't repeat it. And, and in the way the world is right now, there's a lot of things going on that is similar to what happened in the past, and,
Right.
a lot of parallels to World War II and other conflicts we can kind of see going on right now. So for us to understand the causes of events like that, even 80, 100 years ago, helps us, hopefully, our leaders make better decisions today so we don't repeat it.
Right.
What are your expectations for this year?
Expectations for this year are just to keep learning, keep growing. This is year 2 for me, so for me to sit here and think I've got everything I need down and just kind of coasting would be naive. So, there's still so much for me to learn, and I learned so much last year from the students, from the administration, from the teachers. I'm just really looking forward to this year kind of putting that in action and just going and growing from it. I'm
Right.
already doing things a little differently this year than I did last year. So if I can keep improving on that and building on that, I can see myself in 5 years being, okay, I'm really happy with what I'm doing right now, and I'm really proud of it. Because just like anything, this is a growing process. So you learn something every day, even as an adult. And in the careers that you guys choose one day, if you're not learning something every day, you're doing something wrong, in
Right.
my opinion. So you just kind of take it and run with it.
You had my brother last year, and he still comes home, Dad, I'm saying, man, I wish I had Mr. Fannin again. And then you got my sister, and she comes home every day, how great Mr. Fannin is
Oh,
and all
that's
this.
nice.
Yeah.
They're great. Like I said, I missed you, and I missed, what grade are you in?
Eighth.
8, so I missed you guys being my first year last year. I would have loved to have taught that class right there, but learning a lot of the 8th graders through basketball and through coaching track. So feel like I know more of the students now than I did obviously last year
Right.
being so new But yeah, your brother and sister are great. So miss your brother, but your sister is a firecracker, man. She's awesome. She's smart girl right there.
Sometimes.
Sometimes you sound like her brother saying that, right?
How has your year been so far?
It's been awesome. It's been really good. It's been a good start, and like I said, just have a more of a confidence level in myself this year than I did last year, and hopefully that shows. But you know, I told my wife, you know, I've done the restaurant business, I've done other things in my life, but you know, I've never had a job like this where literally every single day I can't wait to get to work. You know what I mean? When you find that thing where you just wake up every morning being, man, I got to wait an hour and a half to get there, you know, you found something that you love.
Right.
So, you know, as long as I can keep loving it, let's keep going for it.
That's right.
Do you think this is going to be a fun year?
I think it's going to be a great year. I really
do
do.
too.
I think it's going to be a fantastic year, and even looking forward to next year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So there's a lot of things that we want to get done and do, but off to a good start, I think, so far, and just kind of ready to rock and roll this year.
That's right, man. I think that's all that we have for you today, Mr. Fannin. Thank you for coming out for us.
Awesome. Thank
And
you all very
y'all
much for this.
coming
This was
to
fun.
Talks. And Season 2, Episode 2, Logging Out.
Awesome. Thanks you guys.